Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
Financial Survival Network is presented to you by Regal Assets. Buy and sell physical gold and silver through your existing retirement plan, 100% tax-free with Regal Assets. If you want to include physical gold or silver in your existing IRA or old 401k, request your free investment kit, which was recently featured in the Forbes and Smart Money Wall Street Journal magazines. Call toll-free 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620, or visit regalassets.com. Are politicians inhabiting an alternate universe? Gold just broke $1,700 the ounce today on September 6th, 2012. Where's it going to end? And if you haven't signed up for the seed event yet, you should start thinking about it. With me, Diana Zoppa. You know her from the Daily Bell and from Zoppa Media. Hey, Diana, how you doing?
Hi, Carrie. Good to talk to you again.
Hey, you too. I don't know if I mentioned, I just got back from Florida. I went there on the mission to kill my sister's real estate deal to buy a house that she was totally the wrong house for and also had mold and in the wrong area that the real estate broker talked her into. Does that sound familiar?
Well, that's what good brothers do. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, I hated to be the buzzkill, but the house wasn't right. It was like a crummy house when I went there, and she's like in a really nice place now. She just wants to get out because there's a lot of maintenance coming down the pike to this condominium building, and she wanted to be out of Dade County and in Palm Beach, so which is great because, you know, it's her life. But she wound up like in a remote area with a house that was really deficient, in my opinion, and she was gung-ho to buy this thing, but luckily the inspector found mold, so I was able to intercede at the exact right moment. Literally, I walked into her apartment when she was talking to the broker. I said, hang up with him now, we have to talk. And, you know, I talked with her for about 15 minutes. She called him back and said, I don't want it. I want to be in Boca Raton. That's where you're going to find me a place, period. And I was so relieved because, you know, it's like it's hard when she's in her 60s. She's going to move. It's going to be disruptive as it is. And then if she's unhappy, what does she do then? She's got to sell it, take a loss, and go to where she should have been in the first place.
Right. Well, that area, Boca Raton, is a great area to live, and I think that she's making a wise choice, and good for you for advising her to do that.
Well, she wanted to be in that area, and then the next thing you know, the broker is like, well, the houses are too expensive. You need to go further north. And, you know, there was nothing wrong with where she was going. It just wasn't what was right for her, in my opinion. And not to say that I know the best for her, but I got more experience buying real estate than she does. And she asked me for my opinion without really asking for it. So I felt like I had to keep my mouth shut. But finally, the opportunity presented itself. So happy ending, hopefully.
All right, good. And the weather was lovely, I'm sure, in Florida.
Oh, man. You know, you guys experience this in Canada, especially in Vancouver, where you have no sunlight for like most of the year. But this summer, I've really just been working really hard, trying to get the show together, bring it to the next level. And I haven't been outside at the beach or done anything outside more than take a walk for 15 or 20 minutes. So a couple of weeks ago, I was there. I was in the sun, in the pool. I took walks, and I came back and I said, God, I feel so much better. I don't know what it is. And then it dawned on me the other day that, hey, I was in the sun getting vitamin D, obviously have a vitamin D deficiency. So all I did this time, Diana, was stay outside. I walked like 5 miles along the beach in Hollywood. They have this magnificent boardwalk. It's a delight. It's like the boardwalk in Venice, almost, not quite, but Pacific Beach is much better than Atlantic. But, you know, I got sun, I got tanned, and I came back feeling like $1 million. And, you know, That's that's why I'm moving there. So
Oh, you are? You're going to move to
I'm
Florida
I'm
for the
doing it.
winter this year.
Yeah, well, maybe for good. Hopefully for good. Found a
Yeah.
place. I found a great place with a pool and with enough room that I can set up my studio and just crank the stuff out nonstop. And
Wow.
I'll even go to the pool and do some shows. Maybe I'll do a show when I'm in the pool.
I
I'm
love
thinking.
it. Well, that's great. Congratulations. I'm sure that, well, I can relate to the working, and not getting out. I've actually made a pact to, when I'm taking phone calls these days, to go outside on my deck and, sit in the sun and catch a bit of rays that way, because I too have been working round the clock. And I don't know, it seems to be the year. I'm sure we're not the only people out there, but a lot of people are working a lot harder. And I guess it's all part of, the world changes. Maybe I'm not sure why is everybody working harder now, do you think?
Well, there's a lot of people who are making less and they're getting paid less to do more work. Uh, that's known as a declining standard of living. And and then, there's people who've discovered their passions like you and I who don't want to lose a minute, we want to keep doing it, but very important that you take time out and recharge the batteries and don't go into burnout because as much as you love what you're doing, if you don't take breaks and you don't walk away from it periodically, you will burn out. There's no
Yeah.
question. You're not superhuman. You're not going to avoid that. So, save your energy, marshal your resources and take breaks because otherwise, man, one day you just wake up and you don't want to get out of bed.
hmm No, you're absolutely right, and I can again, I completely agree with you. It, yeah, as I say to a lot of my clients, which of course I'm in marketing, and so I have different clients through the course of the years, and one of the things that I say is that it's like you can't see the forest for the trees when you're so ingrained in what you're doing, and not taking a break, and being objective from an outside point of view. You're just putting out fires constantly, right?
Yeah.
Which even is almost, I feel I'm at that point in some ways with the amount of work that I've had this year, because um, having three, four clients, you just try to structure. I try to structure my day so that I'm giving. It's impossible to do equal time through the course of the day because there's definitely different challenges that come up every minute, and so. But I have a structure, and I say, okay, this is what I'm going to. I'm participating in this at this point. I look at my schedule every week, and I've actually done a fair amount of time management to try to keep myself as organized as can be, but then you have the routine of life and change that just interrupt things, and then all of a sudden you're putting out a fire, right?
Oh,
Running around.
nonstop. So speaking of burnouts and other people who are living in an alternate universe, have you caught these conventions, Diana?
I just caught a little bit of the Democratic convention last night, of course.
Well, this is a case where political parties are out of touch with reality, with technology. There is no reason for all of those hacks to get together in a city and take it over and all the police woes and security. The only sectors that are profiting off of a Democratic convention probably are the prostitution industry and the drug trade and probably McDonald's and fast food. There is no purpose to the modern convention other than it is a media circus that the media doesn't even bother to report on, that the media doesn't understand. Nothing happens there.
hmm Well, I was reading an article just on Lou Rockwell just the other day, and I'm trying to remember who the writer was, but she had attended it. It was a female writer, and I mean, she just said everything is so contrived. There's absolutely, there's no spontaneity. Everything is. It's all programmed.
It's a scam.
Everything, everybody knows what's going to happen. You're standing around watching a bunch of programmed issues that are never going to change, and everything's been determined. And as my old Mark Twain quote, if the voting mattered, they wouldn't let you do it. It's the same same concept at those conventions, right? Everything's already been determined, and going to them, I think, is I don't get it anymore. They've just become big wastes of money, as you were talking about. These people, all the money that gets spent to put all these people into places. It's just ridiculous. Everything can be done with the technology now. We don't need to have all of that, right?
Yeah, we could
I
have
mean,
a
it's supposed to be a
virtual.
team building factor and,
Ugh.
rah, rah, sis, boom, bah kind of an event. But I mean, it just doesn't. I think, there's certainly a mentality that's there that is participating in that. But again, it's part of the bread and circuses we talked about last week.
Oh, isn't it ever? And yeah, there's nothing that they do there that couldn't be done in a big conference call. And, for the showmanship and all that garbage. Oh, the Republicans had a good convention. The Democrats had a bad one. Do away with this garbage, because it's a holdover from the past. It's an anachronism, because they actually used to choose the candidate at a convention. Warren Harding, one of our less distinguished presidents here in the state, I think he was the 11th or the 22nd vote. They picked him, and there was hemming and hawing, and the bosses from all over the country, they got together and they picked the guy. And you could argue that that the Morgans and the Rockefellers chose the presidents for a goodly amount of time. I think there's a case to be made for it. However, the system was more representative than it is now. The concept of the primary is a waste of time and money and a media circus in its own right. And if they don't wind up choosing the exact same person, they probably get pretty close to who the bosses would have picked anyway. So let's just cut to the chase, have the convention, but have them actually do something there that means something. The whole concept of the platform is another contrivance that sickens me, because they list all of their overriding beliefs and values in this platform. The platform never gets executed. The platform is strictly a marketing ploy, and nobody reads it. And once the convention's over, everyone forgets about that stupid thing until 4 years from now, they'll be working on another platform. So these illusions in the system, it's time to put an end to it all and revamp it and get rid of this crap and stop with the media saturation, carpet bombing of all these stupid commercials where, my opponent, my adversary kicks dogs when you're not looking, and all these horrible things that aren't true that we just need to do away with.
Well, when you're talking about that, a thought came into my mind. I was thinking, you're right. It's been done. It's not, you're preaching to the converted basically at these events, right? I mean, everybody that's there is for the people that are there. How are you getting new market share? That's not happening. So basically, maybe that's what the whole thing is about now, is that we need to just find some sort of a new way to attract people to pay attention to politics, because as we know, most people are not interested. So that's something for
and
the
rightly
next.
so.
But again, that goes back to what's happening. The two parties are not much different, so they don't really want change. I mean, but how do we get those grassroots people involved and get people thinking that to make change, to make things better?
The only way is abolition of these parties. These parties are corrupt to the core at every level of government, from local to national to state to county. Parties are corrupt, they're evil, and they pervert the system. And there's really no difference between the two. To me, it's like, do you ever see that movie with James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause? And they're having they're playing chicken. They have two stolen cars, and James Dean, he's in one, and the other guy is in the other car, and they're drag racing to see who can go faster to go off the cliff. And that's what these parties are. The one party wants to go 100 miles an hour off the cliff, and the other party only wants to go 60 miles an hour off the cliff, but they're both heading to the same place.
No,
So
no, it's exactly right. And gee, I totally agree with you. I don't know like where that is or how we can make a change for this or where it ends because it doesn't. It's just the system. And so, as you said, it's so corrupt. And how does it change? I mean, it has to, I guess it goes up to just different levels of policies, either the monetary or the military or somewhere where there's a break happens so that people wake up and realize that some drastic measures need to be taken.
yeah, that they do, boy. There's so many serious problems taking place that are occurring that are being ignored in lieu of watching basically a soap opera unfold, carefully scripted, more scripted than any soap opera are these conventions. And even Clint Eastwood, he gave a little comic relief to it all, and he wasn't scripted. And all they did was talk about how he wasn't scripted. This is terrible. What's going to happen now? And he's more of a libertarian that kind of got up there, although he endorsed Romney as, I guess, the evil of the two lessers. But, the fact is that, he called it like it was, and you wish that
Hmm.
somebody like him would be running if we could attract candidates of that caliber of integrity and forthrightness. We wouldn't be in this mess that we're in.
Hmm. Well, when you see people like Clint Eastwood stepping up, though, you have to say, wow, I mean, okay, there is something happening out there. And I mean, he actually spoke candidly and made some comments about, Hollywood not just being completely left and that there are a number of people out there that, feel differently, which I found really brave. I mean, it's fantastic that he did that. It was wonderful to see. I was actually, there was an article in the Bell that Nelson Hultberg had written with regards to Clint Eastwood and the disrespect that the
Oh,
shock
yeah.
and the disbelief of the
Ugh.
Blitzer gang and CNN, and they're just going on and on and on about, it's the
Hmm.
weirdest thing that they've ever seen. They can't believe this happened, and I think that maybe there's some hope out there yet for for this kind of change, right? Without
Yeah.
anything completely too crazy to happen drastically.
Yeah, unfortunately, Clint Eastwood's 82 and he pretty much has nothing to lose at this
Yeah.
point. And, it's it's just an awful situation. But getting on to
Hmm.
more positive things, so you're still putting together the conference, right? You're still
Oh,
doing the work
yes.
on it?
Yeah, yeah. No, actually, the magazine just came out this week. It's going to be used as one of our marketing tools. If anybody wants to email me, zoppamediagroup.com, I'll be happy to send them a digital link and version of the magazine. It's got interviews with everyone and a number of sponsor ads, and it's a great little magazine, 32 pages, all nicely glossied and colored, and it's going to be on the streets of Vancouver and be used as one of our marketing tools because it's a sales feature. It pushes the event inside there, and yeah, we're looking forward to it. So if any of your listeners want to have a copy, just email me and I'll send you a digital link.
All right. Hey, that's great because everyone's interested. Hey, another major event happened today. It's September 6th, 2012. Gold broke $1,700 an ounce, US dollars, that is, pretty resoundingly. They're knocking it down right now because they want to get it as low as they can for closing of COMEX, which is 5 minutes from now. But 1,700, a very pivotal resistance point, and now it's all bets are off. We're looking at pretty massive move coming up, is my guess.
Hmm.
It's,
Well, all the economists, everyone that I read, anyways, is predicting gold is going further, further, further for a number of years to come yet.
mhm.
So, and everyone is, cited this year, next year a big play time for it. So we're going to keep our close eye on it, right? And
Yeah,
silver too, of course. I mean, silver is still a good buy, and I think that it's got a long ways to go as well. I mean, it's come down from the $50 it was at a few, I guess it was last year or something. It was that high, but having said that, I think it's got a long ways to go back.
yeah, oh, for sure. Um, Everyone believes that except the economists that that are advising the people in power who are screwing everything up. They think that gold is just a barbarous relic and silver is something that you shouldn't use for fillings anymore because there's better substitutes. So who needs either one of them? And talk about sticking their heads in the ground.
Well, as we know, I mean, gold and silver have been used all through time as money, and governments have debased it continually over the years, and nothing's changed there, right? So, I mean, the economists today, they're all based on Keynesian philosophy. So, they're not. There's not too many Austrian economic, philosophers out there, or economics. People advising the Fed and the government at this point.
Hey, well,
So,
that's
until that turns around, I mean, that's going to remain the same as well.
absolutely, and it's a great point. Is that economics is just not economics. Economics, Austrian economics, is a system, a way of looking at the world that encompasses philosophy, human action, things that regular economists now they're all into this empirical model that really is BS. It doesn't work. You can't put the world into an economic model because every economy is made up of billions of transactions that take place 24/7 around the globe, and there's no way that some guy on a blackboard or on a computer can figure it all out, which is why you have to let the markets function because only they know what human beings want. And when you start messing with the market, you're not just messing with the economy, you're messing with people's heads, with their ability to make a living and their desire to improve their lot and make their lives better for themselves and their families, which is what the economists today just look at the economy as GDP. It doesn't mean people, and that's really the problem.
hmm Well, in the U.S., of course, I mean, it used to be they would say, "Oh, what does the U.S. produce?" How they used to gauge all of the GDP based on that. But now it's not. It's a consumer-based economy, right? Everything's moved out of
Yeah,
the U.S. and produced outside of the U.S. and so that makes life, very different within the American market.
for sure. For sure. Things have definitely changed, and being a producer is a dirty word, but being a consumer seems to be everyone's goal in life, meaning living off of the production of the producers, just consuming what's put in front of you or what you can go out there and grab. And that's what has to change. We all need to become producers once again who consume production of others to enhance our own production as well as to consume the necessary things in life and to further our own benefit. But, that's been lost. People think there's this free lunch, and I hate that cliche because people don't think about what it means. But the fact is that when the government isn't there giving you the goodies anymore, you are on your own. And
hmm
people better understand that because they're going to be on their own real soon. There's not going to
hmm
be politicians there pandering to them saying, "Oh, we'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine." Blah, blah, blah. That's going down.
hmm
That's the model
Well, I
that's
mean, and
ending.
even look at what's happening right now with the attack on capitalism and the attack on businesses and making your own money and this whole sort of mentality that's been projected by the Democrats lately. And just there was some discussion there. I think it was even Obama that was discussing it, just talking about, oh, the number of kids that are still living with their parents, and or
Yeah.
who was it that somebody said
Oh, that
just
was at
recently,
the
oh,
convention.
go out there and why don't you go out there and borrow some money from your
Yeah.
parents. I'm trying to remember who was
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about this, and it just got shunned like big time, for a stupid comment. But no, I mean, what they would rather live off the government than go out there and try to be creative and innovative and develop your own business. It's like my own self. I mean, I had a policy myself when I was working and when I became, when I left school, it was my intention to be in phys ed with a psych minor, and then I really just couldn't get into school. I ended up doing my marketing about, when I was 25, 26 kind of thing. And but what I was going to say about that was just, I was always very creative with what I was going to do. Okay, now I'm going to have 2, 3 jobs. I'm going to do this. I want to make money. I want to figure out how I'm going to, get ahead. Am I saving? Where am I headed in my future, right? But
Hmm.
it was never a thought to be on welfare or take unemployment, or how many friends I had that would work for the city for the summer and then they go collect unemployment, right? And it was just became sort of, you could see that progression with these specific people that I used to know, and they just get involved and carry on with this kind of program, and it becomes ingrained with people right from the time that you're in school. And and so you can see how that doesn't change over time with people, and specific people. But then there's always the people that are very different and very motivated that way. And we were just talking, our son's gone off to a boarding school, and I mean, when you look at the advantage that some of these kids, I mean, I recommend a boarding school for just about anybody's children
Yeah.
if they're, strong and they want to, the support system, the growth. I mean, it's incredible what these schools can offer in the form of an independent school, right? So
Hmm.
lots of motivation, and so it's a very positive thing. But as I said, it's the system. It makes life too easy for people, and it's in. So if you do not have a motivated type of a character or demeanor, then you can see how these people fall into this kind of positioning.
Yep. No question about it. And on that note, Diana, we gotta get going. So to find you and information about the
Okay.
event, where do we go?
Oh, the seed event is seedevent.org or zoppamedia.com, and you can buy tickets there, the West End Grand, and we've got a Holiday Inn set up really close to the P&E for guests who want to come and stay. And Vancouver, we are still basking in the most beautiful sunshine. We're going to be having an amazing fall, apparently.
Oh, that's
So the
great.
weather, I mean, it's still, about 75 to 80 degrees every day right now. It's been great, and the event's coming fast, another 5 weeks. But if you're interested to come up to Vancouver and you've never been, I certainly recommend to do it for this.
It is a beautiful city. What's the date again of the event?
It is Saturday, October the 13th.
All right, excellent. Well, Diana, we will talk to you next week. Oh, financialsurvivalnetwork.com to hear this interview, as well as the others I've done with Diana and financial luminaries around the globe. Today, I think I'm having a talk with Doug Casey. Haven't had him on lately, so wanted to
Oh,
catch up with
great.
him. So I'll tell him you
Well,
said hi.
I just saw his article with the Lou Rockwell, and it was
Yes.
entitled "I Hate Media." So good luck.
All right. Well, we'll definitely be discussing that for sure. And you be well. Talk to you soon.
Okay, Carrie, thanks so much. Talk to you next week.
Bye.